Emily. This is my friend Kathy.
Hi there.
Welcome to Emilee's
Paper Caper.
This is where you'll find inspiration to scrap your stash. So punch that subscribe button. Let's get scrapping. I thought it'd be a lot of fun to have some friends join me and on the channel, and so today Kathy is here to share some ideas on Scrapbook Basics. Kathy, what are you going to share exactly?
I'm going to show you the basic 10 tools you need to do any scrapbook page, and then we're going to do a simple, basic, elegant scrapbook page.
That sounds awesome. Let's get scrapping.
Okay, let's start with the 10 tools it takes to do any scrapbook page. First, let's start off with the surface. It's a self-healing cutting mat, and it protects your work surface. We then have a ruler, scissors, pencil, then a pen. We also have adhesive, whether it's a big gun like this or even a glue stick will work. And we also have a bone folder for making creases when we need those. We have a trimmer for trimming your photos or larger pieces of paper. We also have your basic cardstock backgrounds, either an 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12, and a piece of decorative paper. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm going to show you how to break your page up into 9 locations. Basically, I'm marking 3 columns and 3 rows for each page. First an 8.5 by 11 and then a 12 by 12. Obviously the 12 by 12 is easier because it's always 4 inches. So the trick with the 8.5 by 11 is it's 2.8 tenths of an inch. Since I don't know what 8 tenths of an inch is, I went with 3/4. So here we go. We're making it all our lines and we're creating the grid so that you know where to place all your content on your page. Here we go with the 8.5 by 11. We should be momentarily done with this. Got to measure the rows.
So do you just keep a grid like this in your stash so that you always have it to reference?
I use it so I have it hanging on a wall so that it's kind of a visual. It reminds me what I'm going to be doing, and it also reminds me when I start to get stuck on something, go back to a basic. When you're stuck and you can't figure out what to do less rather than more.
Okay, so go back to these grids.
To the grids, because they really tell you placement.
And you're gonna, in a little bit, you're gonna show us how to do that on a layout.
Yes,
so
absolutely. I'm going to show you.
Yes, keep watching. In other words, but here's your 12 by 12.
Here's the 12 by 12, and you'll notice I'm marking off 4-inch squares in this one because, of course, you've got a square piece of paper. It's a little easier to work with and a little faster, so that you can go all the way around. And then I use the grid, as I said, hanging on my wall as a visual reference to remind me how to place photos, how to move things around, and where to put embellishments.
Okay, and you're going to show us more of that when you actually get into doing the page layout. Where'd you get this idea in the first place?
I actually learned this from a couple of commercial artists I know.
Interesting.
I was working on a layout, and one of them suggested that I get the eyes in a certain location on the page, and that is where the 2 lines cross. Either that corner right there, which I'm showing you, or an upper corner, it doesn't matter, but wherever you put it, as long as the eyes are on that intersection, that is considered a sweet spot. It's a great place to put a picture because the picture looks like it's looking back at the audience, and that way the audience is joining into the page.
Oh yeah, I love that. I'm totally going to be using this. God, we've been scrapbooking together for decades, literally, and this is news to me, so
I've been doing this for decades, and I just didn't bother to tell you.
Well, now I know your secret sauce, so.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay, now that we have our grid, we know that there are 9 spots on a page that we can work in. This can be for your picture, it can be for your words, because most pictures need a title. It can be for your journaling, which tells the story of who, what, when, where, why. And in the meantime, have this in your mind, and then you look at your page, and you'll never see another page without a grid again. Even though it is not physically on the page, your mind knows it's there. So if I want to put my picture back in my sweet spot, I'm going to put it right back here. It's 4 inches in, 4 inches down, and her eyes are right at the line, which then brings you into the photo yourself. I also want a couple of other pictures with this because it was such a memorable day for me. She was with my dad, which didn't happen very often. So I'm going to bring in this picture of her playing on this footbridge, and then I'm also going to include this one, which was also taken that afternoon. But as you can see, I've got a little excess. I've got more picture than I have page. So what I'm going to do here is trim a little of this. I'll find a place for it. I always do. I'm going to take a little of that off. Just a little of this. I don't need these bushes. We get the emphasis. Okay, now turn that into a square. That also makes it a little more interesting. And I think I'm going to lop off a bit of a bush here too, because we don't really need 3 bushes. Now, get that excess out of my way. That's what you use your paper trimmer for. Got my sweet spot. Got her on the bridge. Got her in the yard. And I like that position, but now I'm going to try it with my letters. So, this is the name of my page. It's called Big Spring. It's the name of the park we were in. And I will double check these with a ruler, trust me, before I'm done. Oops. Because I have a tendency to run uphill. And of course I do that. Bring these down a little bit because I don't want them at the very top. I want them inset just a little bit so that the page protects them, and it also keeps them in this third column, or this first column, depending on how you look at it. It's still within the grid. Straighten her up a little bit. And now we're going to put some pictures down. Let's see. I want to really emphasize this picture, so I think I'm going to put it on some backing to really give it a pop. So we're going to do that. Get out your adhesive. And we're going to do this. Now, I want a little edge of the blue to really set her off. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to trim her out. If I can get the trimmer up. Some days your hands are klutzy. Come to that conclusion. Okay, that's off. And that gives you a nice little photo mat to make that picture, which is your important picture, stand out. So she's going to go back up here. Look at her, isn't she adorable? She would kill me for saying that, but that's okay. And then I like this a little covered up because I don't need to see the whole bridge. So I'm going to slide that underneath. And again, I'm actually going to drop this one down for my own purposes, because that's my dad's car in the background. I know that's silly. Slide it under there, kind of line it up and bring it down, and she's on the move. Okay, so we have our sweet spot here, we have our other pictures, now we need to tell our story. And I like to get little mat stacks like this because you can find a little piece of paper that goes along with whatever you're doing, and it didn't cost you a bundle. I kind of like the yellow because it'll bring it out. I can write my journaling on it, and because I never trust my journaling, I always do it in pencil. Park, 1983. Yes, this is an old photo. And then I'll put my lines of journaling in here, which I haven't written yet. Then I want to fit it in here again at the sweet spot that it explains what's going on. But I want to make it a little smaller because I don't want it to have too much dominance. So we're going to bring it down in size here. Take it in what I need. Taking it. Okay, I'm going to do it the other way. Take it down about an inch. That way. And about an inch this way. That's the nice thing about squares. You can work with them. Make them as small as you want. And then we have a place to tuck the journaling in. Right there. I'll add my letters and a few more embellishments, and we're done with this page.
Kathy, thanks for coming today. Your layout was beautiful, and the grid was awesome.
Thanks for having me, and I find that grid works every time, so I use it constantly.
I'm going to use it too. Well, until next time, scrap that stash.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.